All right, so today we're gonna be talking about the Smash pills. This was this was made from a guy named uh Dracola112 on the RSSBN subreddit, and so it says here, so each of these pills gives you a melee specific superpower, but you can only pick one. Which one would you want? So, and here are all the pills basically. I guess you could like pause the video, just do a quick pause and like read all of them real quick. But it's been I think this is like a really fun discussion. I think this is really good food for thought. This is super fun. And I wanted to basically like I was watching Hugs and Toph. They were streaming like, yeah, a couple days ago or something. They were they're basically making a tier list for what they thought was like objectively like the best pills. And so yeah, I wanted to do my own take on this because there were things that I agreed with them, there were things I disagreed. But yeah, let's just get into it. All right, so okay, let's see here. I think okay, I have to be careful because I think right now the worst pill right now, in my opinion, is honestly actually gonna be the black. It says you always get seated in the luckiest possible place in bracket, and you never run into any inconveniences when traveling to and attending tournaments. Well, the thing is, right now though, like the landscape for Smash tournaments is that we don't really travel. Like everything's on netplay now, right? So like that last, the second part of the black pill, like that doesn't really matter. Okay, you always get seated in the luckiest possible place in bracket. I think people like over fixate on seeding. Look, the better player is gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, you can get a crappy seed, but your skill is still gonna show its worth. And like the lucky, like even if say you're just talking about like you're getting a lucky bracket. Well, it's like, okay, what's a really ideal bracket? It's like, think about, okay, say you're a Marth main, and you have a bracket full of like Falcos or something. Well, you're gonna run into the one Falco who's just better than you, and then he's just gonna beat you. Like, I think luck only really goes so far, and I think the black pill is sort of, in my opinion, it's kind of like short-term wins kind of thing. Like, I can see how, so as you scale up in skill, once you start getting into like top 100, I can see this, and then once we start getting back into like the normal like landscape of tournaments and stuff, like in-person tournaments, I can definitely see this increasing in value. I think this is also geared towards players, out of the country, who are like who are heavy hitters, Lethin, Amsa, but even like not even like top of the top. There's tons of players just in Europe and like elsewhere that are hella good. But yeah, I can see how, like jet lag and things like that. I mean, definitely, for sure. I just think right now, this isn't really that good. Like, I just think skill will just trump this, regardless of a lucky bracket or whatever. Like a lucky seeding. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think this is really that useful. I think this is just a kind of a short-term way to get wins. And yeah, and the thing also, another thing about the black pill is like, tournament play, like say you get a really good bracket, you're gonna get a good placement too. So it's like, so you go to X tournament, and then let's just say you place 9th. But say like you were playing at a 70, you were playing at a 7 out of 10. Say you're playing 70% of your peak. But because you had a lucky bracket, you could probably just sort of like coast by. You know what I mean? Like a player could play their 70 and still comfortably beat their favorable matchups. Like I think so. But you're still gonna lose to the player that's gonna be outplaying you more consistently. Like absolutely. It's just the thing is like, say that player gets ninth, but then say you have another player who entered that same tournament, and say they had like an unlucky bracket. Say they had a bunch of unfavorable matchups, right? Say it was like a Fox who had to run into like every floaty in their scene or something, or something like that. Like, I'm trying to think of a scenario where it's not favorable for them, but if you maybe consider this player, maybe he was playing so fucking good that day. Like maybe he was playing at his 90 or 100, like in all of his tournament sets, but he just had an unfortunate, he had unfortunate matchups, and he ended up losing and getting out early. And let's just say like that player got like, maybe like 17th or something. Maybe they tied for 17th. It's like, and honestly, in retrospect, like it sometimes I would actually rather I would rather in the long term be the player who had played better in his tournament sets but then still lost. I would rather lose playing well than playing mediocre but then getting a W. Like those mediocre W's, like they don't scale. Like they don't really scale that much over. Like I think again it's a theme of short-term wins, and I'm not big on that. Okay, so let's see, where are these next ones? Okay, like I think the next let's see, let me think. The next one here is pink. Pink is you can go into an avatar state. I think that's funny. Where every retired pro player can coach you from within your own head. First of all, I mean, it's funny how I interpret this is like you just have like a like a conversation of guys or whatever, just like all yelling at you to do different things. It's not that. I don't think it's really that. I mean, pink is like, look, advice, like coaching and giving advice is very nuanced. Like it really depends on the skill of a player too. So like here, I'm trying to figure out, can you do, hold on one second, Panthers ladder skill ranks. There you go. So like, oh, this is nice. Oh, it gives you distributions. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, like, let me just see what happens here. So here's the thing. Okay, I wanted to bring this up because the skills matter. The skill matters. Depending on what advice is given to a certain player, like, some players, even with the tiniest advice, can go really far. Some players are so bad that you can give them sage advice and they won't be able to convert anything. They won't get any value out of it. It's almost like it goes in one ear and out the other. Like giving advice to players, like gold 3 and below. And by the way, these are ranked, so like it goes 3, 2, 1. So that 1 is the highest of, like in this case would be bronze. So like say you take like gold 3 players and below and you have someone like Armada giving advice, like some like mid-set coaching, they will get value out of it, but like honestly there's probably a plethora of other reasons why they lost that last game, or why they barely edged out a win, or like they could be making tons of mistakes and execution errors that could be contributing into their loss, and they could still lose even while implementing the advice that they were given. It's just, over the course of like a tournament set, You know, I guess I have to make it clear that I guess my criteria for the pills and stuff is like how do I even value them is like I guess it has to go towards like yeah, I guess tournament results, like just your how they contribute to your overall skill, um how many players it affects, I think, yeah, is another one. Um but yeah, that was just an aside. But like going back to yeah, the advice, like yeah, the coaching, it only goes so far. Like, and the other thing too is, you know, when you go back here, it's like, say you give someone advice, say you give them coaching and stuff. Like, sometimes it's not even just knowing what you need to do, but it's being familiar with the situation to get the right adjustment and to be able to adjust fast enough. Like, say you gave a gold player some advice like, hey, like hey, you like, say they lose their game one, and then the pro player's advice is like, hey, like they keep rolling in and you don't punish it, whether it be on tech chase situations, or maybe they roll in on, maybe they're on lockdown, they roll in, or like maybe they're in shield. Yeah, maybe it's like a shield pressure thing and they roll in after some shield pressure string or something, I don't know, whatever. So then if you're the goal player and you listen to this, it's like, okay, like okay, got it, like catch his roll-ins. But then say you go into game two, and what if that those opportunities only happen like twice in the entire game? Like what if you're playing and then like they roll in and you're like, oh shoot, like I wasn't, like, oh, there's that roll in that I was supposed to get, but I still didn't get it because I wasn't used to it. You know what I mean? Like, you could, it takes time to sort of like make the adjustment too, and I think that doesn't get talked about either. Like, you can't assume that when a player is receiving advice that they're going to be able to 100% of the time implement it and have it solidified in their head going forward into their next games. Like, sometimes, you know, it takes time, like, for people to like, yeah, to learn the adjustment sometimes, you know. But that's the thing, it's like you could give advice to players that are, you know, say plat 1 and higher, or something, I don't know, whatever. You could tell players that are better certain advice and they could go very far with it, you know. Like, you could tell, you know, you could tell a top 100 player like, hey, just slow it down, and that might actually just be the adjustment they needed. You know what I mean? You know, say they're playing, it's like Marth Puff or something. It's like, hey, like your forward air, like say you're overextending too much and you slow it down. Like, I think the players that are better know how to make that adjustment, because it's like they've done it before, so like they're more familiar with it, I feel like. So it's like how well they can implement it will be better than someone like in silver. If you tell a silver player, hey, slow it down, like, they might still be playing autopilot and they might still be playing fast in certain situations where they need to slow it down. You know, even though they're still trying to slow down, they still might not be slowing down enough. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's very nuanced when you, with advice and stuff. Like, okay, so what's the next one? That was the coaching one. Okay, so the next one is this. I think green, yeah, green I think is better than pink. Definitely. Here. So go here. So you become the best in the world at your character, but you can only play a character lower than Luigi on the tier list. That is pure dopamine. That is like that is like so cracked out. Like, it was so funny. It was like, I was listening to Hugs and Toph, they were talking about it. Hugs was like, he said the same. He was like, the green pill was something like, it was like the most cracked out one, because And I agree too, and it's because like the high that you get from beating people with a worse character is so good. Oh my god, it's so good. And so I can just see, right? It's like on the black market. I can see the green pill having a high value in the black market, even regardless of like the tier list that I'm making. Like, see, okay, this one's pretty insane though. Like, okay. So yeah, I think let's just say, let's assume like, say like Young Link or something, right? Say you have a character like Young Link and let's say it's Axe's. Let's just say for argument, it's Axe's Young Link is the best Young Link in the world, just for the sake of argument, and for right now. And like, imagine playing a tournament set, and then all of a sudden, you like, Axe's Young Link will go very far in bracket, like, because Axe is insane. So. Like that's the thing is I think the green pill is really funny, but it's definitely it can hit very hard. Because you could be playing, so go back here. Like you could be playing, say you're a gold 3 player. Say you're a gold 3 player playing up against another gold 3 player, or maybe just another gold player in bracket, right? You guys are like roughly in the same skill bracket. If you all of a sudden if they just all of a sudden like you started the set and now you're playing and you're like piloting Axe's Young Link, dude, it's over. Are you kidding me? Axe's Young Link Axe already plays at a, you know, like Masters 1+ with every character. Axe is like a Grandmaster anyway, right? So like, his Young Link will destroy him, dude. Are you kidding? Like, it's the same thing. Like, say you pick like Yoshi with like Amsa or something. The level that Amsa's Yoshi plays at will destroy a lot of players. So that's why I think the green one is nice, dude. Or actually, you couldn't even pick Yoshi. Oh no, that was a bad example. I don't even know if you could pick Yoshi. Say, yeah, I mean Young Link or who else? Like, even like Pichu. Honestly, like even like Pichu. So you went to FD and like, I don't know. It was like fast fall or you chain through them. I don't even know. I don't know, whatever. But like, you know, who has like the best Pichu? Like, I don't know, whatever. But you guys get the point. Yeah, I would put it around there. Yeah, around C. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, the next one here is going to be this one. I think people are getting mad at me. Okay, this is where it starts getting debatable. The blue pill. I think the blue pill. Actually, no. You know what? I'm trying to think. Yeah. No, I think that's right. Yeah. And the thing is, so the blue pill says it's an advanced tech involves using Shine. You can execute 100% perfectly every time. The thing is, that's very good. It's definitely on a whole nother tier over green and pink for sure. Absolutely. Blue has a lot of value. You can take stocks. You can find your opening. You can reversal, like Shine, like for Fox and Falco. Like, it's so versatile that this has a lot of value. It really does. I don't want to take away the value from the blue pill. However, the thing is, not everybody plays Spaceys. Even though there's a lot of Spaceys, not everyone plays Spaceys. Number 2 is how much marginal advantage are you going to create for yourself, even if you land? That's what I give my critique on this. Is because say you're playing neutral and you triple shine. Say you want to execute like a triple shine, right, as a shield pressure. You get them to shield, and then you're all of a sudden you have the tempo, and you go for a triple shine. You took the blue pill, and you're gonna get it. And let's just say for our like, let's just say hypothetically like the third shine hits them. Let's just say like, oh, they try to act out of the second shine, they get hit by the third shine. But then my critique on it is like, okay, you landed the triple shine. Now you still have to follow up everything after that to get value out of it, you know? Like, say you say, okay, let's see, you know, what's another example? Say you get perfect like the max distance wave shine distance, like say with Fox, and you're playing against you know, like Sheik, say like Falcon or something, Sheik or Falcon. Like, say you get like perfect wave shines and you just keep wave shining them over and over. Like, first of all, this doesn't, I don't think this even accounts into like, this doesn't take into account like the opponent's ability to counterplay. It just means that you execute it, you know? So like, say you perfectly wave shine a Falcon, like, or Sheik or whatever, like, the advantage that you probably got out of that was you put them at the ledge. You push them all the way across the stage to the ledge with perfect wave shines, and they weren't able to SDI out. I don't know, let's just say. But then they're still at the ledge. You know what I mean? Like, my argument is you still got advantage, you still got value out of being able to execute the tech, but now you're just in a different situation. It's not like you've completely taken the stock. Yes, they're in the corner, you know, but I think about, like, in the grand scheme of things, whether we're focusing on the micro sort of, yeah, the micro aspects, where I think we have to think about also just in reality how much actual advantage is that tech gonna get you. But I feel like, yeah, whatever. I think people are gonna get mad at me, whatever. But yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think for the blue pill. The next one I think here is, I think people are getting mad at me too. Okay, orange. Okay, you always play at your physical peak. Your hands don't get sore. You're unaffected by sleep loss. Your controller always works. So the thing is like how I interpret the orange pill is your physical peak. I don't think this is to be confused with your actual peak though. I think your physical conditions contribute to your overall performance and how you play at your peak. But I don't think this is the equivalent of playing at your peak. This is how I interpret this. It just said, it's because it says your physical peak. To me, this sounds like you've taken care of your body. Like you've got enough sleep, you have a working controller, say you know, say like you're hydrated, you ate well that day or whatever. But even if you're physically fine, meaning even if all of those things are checked off on the list, are you still going to be able to play at your actual peak though? I feel like there's other things that contribute to your actual peak, such as your practice regime, or, you know, like how much have you been practicing? How much have you been playing? Who have you been playing? What about stress? Like it's just stress on the mind, you know? Like, are players stressed in other aspects of their lives, and does it bog them down sometimes? And I feel like that contributes into a player's overall performance. And I you know, I think like your physical peak, it's like players are getting plenty of sleep and stuff all the time, but they still suck. like I mean, you know, generally people are playing with working controllers. Like, I think this is another one of those pills where as the skill scales up, as you scale up in skill, um, this is where the value of this is going to go up. I feel like, yeah, because you know, your physical condition absolutely matters. You know, it's like, you know, not getting enough sleep the night before is a big one. It's like, you know, I feel for all of the out of country guys that have to travel and they're jet lag. You know, like that sucks sometimes. You know, because the thing is, it's like it almost forces them, even as a sort of aside, it's like it almost forces players who are out of country to come to the United States or whatever for the tournament a couple days before, just so that their jet lag can sort of reset. Like they can at least reset and kind of assimilate to the that current time zone wherever they're at. But like, you know, not everyone has that luxury of, you know, being able to, you know, it's like, yeah, I just think the orange pill, and it's like, granted, I did hear the argument that you're okay, so like you're unaffected by sleep loss. So the argument I heard was like, you could just practice for like hours on it. Like you could just keep practicing over and over and over. I think that has value. I think that's definitely true. I just think that that's not healthy. I don't think that's a healthy way. It's like that you're unaffected by sleep loss. I don't know. I mean, your mind could still get tired from playing. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I would put it at B though. And I think the higher you go up in skill, I mean, the more of a competitor, like, you know, for players that are like gold and below, this doesn't really mean much, in my opinion. For players that are plat and up, this matters. And it matters even more when you're like top 100. Yeah, for sure. It's just, yeah, like I said earlier, like there's people playing at their physical peak all the time, but they're still making terrible decisions. You know, like, I don't think this is. I don't think this means like your actual peak. It's like it's just like your physical condition. Okay, let's get to the good ones. Okay, so yeah, okay, man, these ones are real. These are my favorite, right? These are the good ones. Okay, let's talk about yellow. People are gonna be mad at me. It's okay. Your reaction time speeds up by 3 frames. God, I secretly want to put this at S. I really do. I secretly really want to put this at S. Man, that's a good one. Ooh, I want the yellow pill. Like, ooh, I want that yellow pill. As a gamer, guys, come on. I think it was something like 3 frames is equivalent to 50 milliseconds, I believe. I think that's what Toast said. I think that's right too, yeah. 50 milliseconds. Like, that is significant, dude. Like, so, dude, oh my god. Playing Valorant. So I play Aim Lab. So I play a little bit. Lately I haven't been playing too much Valorant, but like the other game that is sort of the game I play before I play Valorant though is this game called Aim Lab, and it's, oh my god, super addicting, by the way. Super fun. Like, it's just a bunch of like aim practice trainings, but they give you like really good analytics at the end of the round. And so one thing they look at is your time to kill in milliseconds. So it's basically like how fast do you react to a sphere appearing, and how fast does it take for your mouse to go over to the sphere and then click. If I'm playing hot and I'm playing grid shot, sometimes my time to kill is less than a quarter of a second. And so that means it's like less than 250 milliseconds. So like we're talking in the range of like let's say like 300 milliseconds to like 100 milliseconds. Let's just make that broad range. But like a human's reaction time, but that was my time to kill. That wasn't my actual reaction time, because remember, it takes time for the mouse to go over to the sphere. But 50 milliseconds shaved off of your reactions is absolutely bonkers. That is like so insane. Like, man, I secretly really want to put this at S, but just can we just talk about like how much value the yellow pill has? Like, okay, let's say you're reaction tech chasing with Sheik versus Fox. Oh man, the yellow pill is gonna get you cracked out. Say you're Falcon and you're reaction tech chasing Fox or Spaceys or something, you're gonna be cracked. Like, what else, man? Even like Marth on Spaceys, even like a lot of the chain grabs, that is so much value. That can almost, I would say almost, convert into a stock. I sometimes will argue. See, here's the thing. The thing about the yellow pill is the reason the reason I can't put it at S is because I really think decision making plays a big role. Like, you could be making the wrong decision or a suboptimal decision, but be doing it just 3 frames faster, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you're doing it faster than the normal self who hadn't taken the yellow pill. Now you're taking the yellow pill, but it's like you could still be falling into similar traps. Like, also, if you're the one getting hit, and if you're the one on the receiving end of it, say you're the one getting comboed, how much is this really going to help you? Okay, say you'll probably get better SDI inputs. You're probably, you have an easier time SDIing, but like I feel like you still need to know what the proper DI is, like what the proper DI you need for the specific situation. Like, say it's very nuanced, because like say you're getting comboed, but then you say you're getting let me think for a second. Say you're getting Fourier comboed by Marth and you're a Spacey, and you're getting comboed across, let's say like Yoshi's or something. Like, sometimes people, it's like, depending on where the platforms are too, sometimes being able to DI to a platform, or sometimes being able to DI like under a platform, isn't ambiguous. Like, sometimes you need, it's like, I would rather get the DI that I really need, but like, fuck, how do I say it? Like, I don't mind being a little bit slower if I know that I'm getting the right DI to get me out. Like, you could be getting insane SDI inputs and be DIing for him, or you could be DIing in a suboptimal way, meaning like he could still follow up, even though it might appear that you got out, but he can still follow up with it. You know what I mean? Like, this is, I really love this pill. I really do. I just think in melee, like, you can beat people who have better reaction time than you. Even though when the player is on the offense, like I said, with the chain grabs and reaction tech chases, this is where this just goes off. But I think maybe defensively, and I think more on a macro sense of your decision making in the game, and like overall, like, this doesn't take into like strategy, like say you're Fox Puff and you're playing your Fox and you're versing against a Puff, and say your strategy is very bad. Say you're playing Puff like you're playing like another Spacey. Well, then you might actually just get destroyed. You know, regardless of your nairs are 3 frames faster, regardless of all of your tech being 3 frames faster, or even just your reaction time being 3 frames faster, like you might be overextending in areas in times when you don't need to be, or there might be times where you need to back off and laser instead of trying to go in and go for the, you know, high execution, the fastest possible timing aerial shine pressure or something. You know, you might just get baited into something and then all of a sudden you get rested. You know, like I think there's a little, the yellow pill is very theory crafty. I think it sounds really good and I really like it. I think this one is cracked, but I think the problem is decision making. I think sort of just trumps this, and that's why I can't put the yellow pill at S. I do like the yellow pill though. Okay, let's get to the juice. I'm gonna go like this. Okay. I know you're all gonna be mad at me. So you know what? Whatever. I don't care. You're gonna be mad. This is why. Yeah, this is my tier list. Yeah. This is my complete. The gray pill. Let's talk about the gray. There's a lot to talk about the gray pill. Okay, I'm about to go off. I'm about to go off on it. So hold on. Let's talk about the gray pill. Oh, this is actually, the gray pill is my personal favorite. I think I really like the yellow pill. It's cracked out. We'll talk about the red pill. Don't worry. The gray pill is actually my favorite pill. Ooh, this one is cracked out. Ooh, this one's really good. It says you always execute at least 1-0 to death at some point during the first 3 stocks of a game. That is insane. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, first of all, people think, okay, it's like, people are naming this the content creator pill. It's like, oh, the clip monster pill, right? And they're not wrong. I agree. However, that's just what it is on the surface. The gray pill is extremely ridiculous, guys. At least 1-0 to death. Okay, let's look at skills. Say you're a plat 3 player and below. Say you're plat 3 and below. And say you're a plat 3 and you're playing against another plat 3, or say you're a gold playing against whatever. You're playing against a person who's like roughly on the same skill level as you. It's very likely, like, even if a plat played a bronze, yeah, you might see some 0 to deaths. But the thing is, here's the thing: 0 to deaths comes so infrequently. Like, even in a tournament set, you won't even see. It's very likely that players won't even see a 0 to death. Like, even in a whole session, you might not even see a single 0 to death. Like, you could play an hour with somebody and no one lands a 0 to death. Like think about it. Like, remember the thing about the last time you played in an in-person session, and you were like, and then after you guys are done playing, sorry, I can't talk. You guys are reminiscing, like, oh yeah, I remember that like 1-0 to death that you got on me. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, but they talk about it like the 1-0 to death out of how many games that were played, out of how much time was allocated, and only 1-0 to death was produced out of it. Like, the other thing too is, first of all, they come so infrequent. 0 to deaths, some players don't even see 0 to deaths. Silver players and below, they don't even see it. Like, a 0 to death for silver 1 players and below, they don't even know what the fuck that is, dude. Like they're fumbling and they're making mistakes, execution errors. They're overextending. They have a whole bunch of problems going on. Like, and to land a 0 to death in a skill range of like, say, a silver versus silver player, like that's insane, dude. Like, the other thing that people don't talk about is like how devastating a 0 to death really is too. Like, a 0 to death is demoralizing. You know, like if you're on the receiving end of a 0 to death, that fucking sucks, man. Like, it's just like, oh my god. Like, oh god, I just got destroyed. You know, like that, it sucks. And so, say you get 0 to death, it's very likely that you're gonna get shook, and it's likely that that's gonna affect your gameplay going into the next stock. It's very likely. It takes a player of very strong mindset to be able to just shake off a 0 to death. Even players that have been playing for years, when they're on the receiving end of a 0 to death, it can hurt. And so that will affect their play in going into the next stock. I really think so. Like, it's very likely that the player, so they get 0 to death, okay, and then the next stock comes. It's very likely that they're going to play a little bit more safe. It's likely that they're going to give more respect to the other player because they just destroyed you, right? Like, and that's going to show in the gameplay. Like, it's going to affect their decision making. Like, getting a 0 to death, like, it is such a big momentum shift, not in just in terms of like the game tempo, but in terms of player to player, how do I say, emotion? I don't know how to say it. Like, it's like one player gets really confident and the other player like loses confidence, like that. Something like that. I don't know what the words to use, but it's the feeling of it. You know, and consequently, because of that, like the player who gets the 0 to death might feel more confident going into the next stock. So it's like they might actually just continue to swag out and just even they might just be able to get momentum off of that and then play better in the next coming stocks. Also, the other thing too is like, guys, a 0 to death, like, dude, in a game where you have, it's okay, a 0 to death, it's like you basically take their stock, right? So in a game with 4 stocks, and then someone just like, you have 4 stocks, someone just takes away 1 stock, like, it's like you're cutting the opponent's lifespan by 25%, right? It's like instead of 4 stocks, you're playing with 3. It's like, imagine playing Magic the Gathering, where both players, is obviously different game, different whatever. Both players start at 20 life. Imagine one player starting at 15 life and the other person remains at 20. That is humongous. Like, in a game where in Melee, where we're talking about creating marginal advantages between 2 players, like, the tiniest mistake will get amplified and like magnified. It's like, say as you go up in skill, so say you're playing a really good player, you make 1 mistake, that could be your stock. Say you miss a tech, that could be your stock, right? Like, my point is, they made 1 mistake and the other player took a stock. Now they've created a lead with that, and that is now their marginal advantage. Assuming that both players were at the same number of stocks to begin with, one player makes a mistake, the other player completely capitalizes on it, takes their stock, and then now that's the marginal lead, is 1 stock, right? In that case, you know, one player messed up and the other player took advantage. In the gray pill is literally like, it's not even a player has to make a mistake. You're already starting at a deficit. That is significant. in a game where you're trying to create a cumulative advantage, right? You're trying to continue your lead. Like, imagine, yeah, you're two stock versus two stock for somebody, and it's a game 3 in tournament, and then you 0 to death them. Like, that player going into their last stock of game 3 is gonna be under some pressure. Like I said earlier, like, it takes a player with very strong mindset, right, to just be able to shrug it off. Like, it's hard, man. That's hard. It's not easy to just shrug it off. Like, yeah, the grape. I love the grape pill. I really do. It's actually my personal favorite. Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about the grape pill. I think that's it. Like, I think, yeah, I think Grey Pill is minimum. Oh yeah, also, yeah, not only is it minimum A tier, but like, it's minimum A. And also the other thing is, like, how many players that the Grey Pill will affect. Granted, as you scale up in skill, let's say like top 20 players or whatever, they're gonna just be doing 0 to deaths, whatever, like, naturally. But the thing is, man, is like, even top players, like players that have a refined punish game, and that they've put years of practice into their punish game, they still might fail to take the stock. So say it's like, you punish them 0 to 90, 0 to 100, but you still sort of fumble that last hit on the edge guard, and they get back. Like, then it's almost like it was all for nothing. Almost. They're still at 100, they're still at 90, but like, how many times, like, the fact that it confirms a stock is another point too. Like, how many times have you guys seen Mango, take Hungry Box to kill percent, but then fail to land that sort of last hit, or that he fails to get that last grab into up air, and he keeps fumbling, and then in the process of trying to get that kill confirm, he then takes a bunch of damage from Hungry Box, like, and at that level, it's like, there's big momentum swings where it's like a player could take the other player 0 to 100, but then the other player gets back, and then the other player might just be able to take the other guy's 0 to 100 back, and then they might be able to take their stock, and then it's like, damn, like, it'll be like that though, you don't see it often, and again, we're talking about very few players now, but for, I'm gonna throw out a number, like, I mean, for like the 96% of Smash players, the Grey Pill is cracked out. Like, bronze players don't even know they can't even execute, like, silver and bronze, like players down here, they can't even, they're still sort of learning how to run, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Like, and even players that are across a large skill range, like, even if you take, a gold 3 player to even like masters, like, which is a very large skill range, a lot of players are still going to be able to they're still going to be able to get their 3-4 pieces, but they still might fumble on things. It's likely they're going to fumble on things. It's likely they're not going to be able to finish off their edge guard, and that definitely matters. It definitely does. It's like, the fact that it confirms a stock, I think, is just ridiculous. And it also, as an aside, that's also why I think wobbling is, why I'm not a big fan of wobbling. I'm kind of anti-wobbling, because it's the fact that it confirms a stock, as well as being able to get such a great punish. Like, but I don't whatever. I don't want to get into wobbling, whatever. Anyways. Let's see. Okay, so that just leaves, just the red pill. You practice 3 times as efficiently as normal. and struggle less to readjust when switching characters. This one, okay, here's the thing. This one, in my opinion, is on its own tier. I think the red pill is literally just on its own tier entirely. This like transcends even just like Smash. This like transcends into like every other game. I think like any like FGC game. The red pill is insane. Like with practice, okay, with practice and time investment and good work ethic, you can get your 0 to deaths. You can increase your reaction time. With practice, you might not even need to be playing at your physical peak, but then still destroy people because you're so well practiced. With practice, you can land all of your shine tech. With practice, you don't need advice. like you might not even need like you might like it's the rate of growth. That's the thing that gets me about the red pill. Is this is why I think it's on its own tier, because it's the rate of growth. Like the way I think of it is like say FGC players and Smash players are like stocks in a market, like individual stocks. Some stocks are rising in value, some stocks are lowering in value. You know, some stocks did very well in a certain in a certain era of time, but then maybe in a different era of time they lost their value or something, whatever. The red pill, to me, if a player is taking the red pill, they might not be getting that good short-term results, but I think this is a thing where a stock will increase its value over time, like by so much though. Like the rate of how much value it can grow is what makes this completely dominant over every other pill. Like this is exactly what you want. Like, dude, say you had a very extreme practice regimen, and say a player practiced like 3 hours every day or something. That means you could get the same practice as someone who practiced 3 hours, and you could practice it in 1 hour. That's insane. Like, I can't even put it into words how much this is like ridiculous. And the thing is the second part of it too is also very it's still very useful. Like with efficient practice and being able to adjust characters, this is a type of player that will go through, they'll eat through any kind of gimmick, any kind of like wall of a character. So like all of your Samus's, Luigi's, Ganon's, I know I guess I'm gonna piss people off, you know, all of your like Pikachu's, maybe except like Axe or something. Like you could maybe play say you're uncomfortable in a certain matchup, and you play a different matchup, like you could just steamroll over players like that with good practice and just being like, you know, like having a very strong Sheik and being able to play a good Samus, like and if say that Samus, you know, say it's like it's sufficient practice like with that other Samus player, and you know you're just switching to Sheik and you don't have any problems adjusting, like you'll probably destroy like equal level of Samus's, maybe not equal level, but like lesser, like I don't know, like I just think this transcends into like every other video game as well. Like the practice, like imagine, dude, like, and the thing is too is like this, you practice practicing is like very broad. You know, it's not just practicing tech skill. It's not just it's not some, you know, sometimes it is practicing execution and stuff, but like sometimes it's practicing like getting used to certain decision making flowcharts. Like sometimes it's like, you know, you're comboing somebody, but they do a DI that you're not quite familiar with, and you fumble it there. You know, but with practice, you'll get familiar with that DI that you were unfamiliar with, and you'll continue to combo. Like, and I just think with practice, you can get all of, like, you can get like every other thing. Like, you, with practice, you can get better reactions. And like, like look at a black pill. Like, you always can see the, like, who cares about the black pill? Who cares about what your seed is? If your rate of growth, like if your practice regime is really, really good, like you don't need a seed. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to worry about that. Like, and the 0 to deaths, they will likely come to you. You know, they'll come with practice. Like, the fact that this saves time, and the phrase that gets me is like, yeah, it's like 3 times as efficiently as normal. Like, that's just insane. I think that's just on its own tier. And so yeah, I think that's my list, honestly. Yeah, so I think, you know, I really want to put one of these at S. I want to even put both of them at S. But I can't. Like, the red pill is just on its own tier, and you can't, like, you'll get, yeah, like you can get so many advantage. Like, you can just grow as a player so in every aspect, you know, like punish game, movement, recovery, escape, like just your ability to read people, like on every front, you'll be able to grow faster than people. You know, like that, I think that means the most out of any of these. Even though I think secretly I want to put the gray pill at S. I really do. I think, like I said, I think gray is my favorite. Yellow is definitely cracked out. I love me some yellow. And I think the green pill, you become the best in the world, some character, yeah, below Luigi. Like, that's just pure dopamine. That's awesome. So yeah, but yeah, anyways, I think that's it. God, this is a long ass video, holy shit. But yeah, that was my full take on it. I think this is great discussion. So I would love to hear people's different takes on this, because I think this is like really fun to think about. So yeah, I guess I'll just end it here. Peace.